Nation. We're back.
Welcome back to another episode of Fire the Cannon. I'm Rocky.
And I'm Megan, and we are Fire the Cannon.
All right. Welcome back, Megan. We had a fun weekend in Lawrence, Kansas this weekend. We got to go support Justice Finkley. So we had made an announcement a couple weeks ago that we were going to try, now that season's in full swing, to have a little quick Sunday Monday episode, drop something just to kind of cover the craziness of the weekend. And then we'll still keep our fun live shows with viewer engagement and all those things live Wednesday evening. But we made it back from Lawrence, Kansas, Megan. So
we did.
Yeah. Welcome back.
Yeah, it was a good trip. I'm still tired. But it was a good, fun trip. We had a good time. Got to bring the dogs up. I didn't think I'd be going back to Lawrence, Kansas anytime soon. And then we, of course, our friends, the Finkleys, we know that Justice transferred up there. So went up to support them. Happy to do it. Great to see them. They are lifetime Longhorns no matter what. So yes. Really fun time, fun trip.
This is our photo. Richard, Nadia, Stevie, the Finkleys and their brother. Like, this is our little pod getting ready to go support number 15. Doing a little pre-gaming, about to head to the stadium. That was kind of fun. We got all in our red and blue Finkley colors to go support Justice. Great game. For the new stadium was really nice.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. I had a few people ask me about it, like, oh, how's the stadium? And I was like, well, it's halfway done, but it's the half that's done is really cool. Like, I think they've got something special going up there. I think, Leopold's really got that program. There's a lot of excitement in Lawrence. And Rocky, the thing I like about it is, I know this is silly, but the aesthetics are going to be pretty cool. When it's done, it kind of looks like a giant bird's nest. And I think it's a cool design element. So April
said it's supposed to be wheat or something. And like, if you can see, I don't know, I'm sure it's inspired by a bird cage inspired by wheat, but it looks really beautiful. And it's the way they used the lighting and the new sound, the DJ was great. The video screen, they had 2 flyovers to start the game.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah, they had a good opening day. More impressively, the solid win over Fresno State. Jalen Daniels, their quarterback, lit it up. He was the highest rated player this weekend by Pro Football Focus. I mean, there were only a few college football games, but he was above and beyond the best producer of the first week 0, which is pretty good because he's one of those players. What is this, 6th year, I think? And he's one of those players that has had injury issues. And even though he didn't come out of high school recruited very high, he really built himself a name of being so talented, in his college play. So it's hopefully we get to see what he looks like in a healthy season. And you think you could give teams like Texas Tech or Kansas State or Iowa State a run for their money? Do you think Kansas was it just Fresno State, or do you think they have they're going to be legit competition?
Look, I think right now the Big 12 is wide open. There's definitely some crazy play going on. We saw it a little bit last year. It might not, and this is not a commentary on Kansas, just Big 12 in general. Some of the play we saw was a little nuts last year, a little crazy, a little wild. Might not be, national champion contenders right now, but it sure is fun football to watch. I will say that. So, of course, with Daniels, I think there's high expectations there in Lawrence. I think there's high expectations of him. And I want to say, shout out to Justice. He is taken to Lawrence well, and in that leadership role. Of course, we know he was a captain on the field, is a captain for the team. And it was great, man. I mean, he's playing smart. He's the player that we know him to be. He was there. He's in the mix every time. We saw Fresno State doubling up against him. I mean, they definitely did their homework. They knew they had to cue in on Justice. And even so, he was freeing up some other guys to make some big plays. So it was a lot of fun to watch. It was good to see him. It was a good time, man. I have to say this, Rocky, and I wanted your opinion on this. Given that Texas wasn't playing, I mean, obviously we know we bleed the burnt orange, but it's kind of fun going to a football game where you don't have a vested, like, heavy, emotional rooted interest in the outcome of the game. Of course, we wanted the Finkleys to do well and Justice to do well, but it was like the most stress-free football game that I think I've attended in a very long time. So it was nice. It was a welcome relief.
For a minute there, we thought we were actually going to get a game. Kansas started with the ball, went down the field, scored, exciting, and then Fresno State, boom, went down the field with the ball, 7-7. Like, okay, we got ourselves a little game, but that was it for the rest of the game for Fresno State. Defense adjusted, stepped up, controlled the game. Jalen Daniels, running back, who only came back with 400 or 500 yards production last year, came back and led the way for them. So this is going to be fun to watch them grow this year together because they have so many transfers. And Lance Leopold looks like he's got something going. We'll see. It's early. They did make a good statement. The other Big 12 game of the weekend was the Dublin game. And we have to talk about this game. This game came on at like 11 a.m. for us, right? Central time. Right. And it was the big Dublin game, which is a big deal. It was Big 12 conference. But we have to talk about these conditions. They're playing in cold wind. It's a mess. They're playing on a soccer pitch, not a football field. How do you think that impacted this game? And would you want your team, if you were the coach of a college football team, starting conference play, would you want it to be in this kind of environment?
Conference play is tough. Conference play is tough. That's hard. Now, I got to ask, like, I know there have been times in the past where games like that, like game one, they're almost, and especially in week 0, are almost treated as exhibition games. Does this count for the Big 12 for Iowa State and Kansas State? Does that count as a conference game? Yeah.
Iowa State is 1-0 in conference play right now. They won
that's
that
tough.
Game. It was messy. It was ugly. It was back and forth. How many times?
That's definitely hardcore. And to your point, that soccer pitch is prepped very differently than most football fields where these players are used to playing on. So I think you bring up a really good point. It is, we saw this. I mean, I remember it with the Nebraska game too. Who are they playing? Northwestern. The game does tend to be a little sloppy over in Ireland, right? The pitch does look a little bit slick. The conditions are usually wet and cold. So, I mean, I think it affects the game. I certainly when players and teams are dealing with summer or summer-like conditions in the States at the same time, and then to go over with the time change with all the different conditions. I mean, it's definitely, that's a tough thing. Would I want my team doing it? It depends on what my team is. If you're asking me about Texas, look, no. I wouldn't want Texas over there. And I will say this again, I'm going to come off as the cocky, swaggy Texas fan, but I don't think Texas needs the additional eyeballs or the help with viewership of playing in a week 0 situation in Dublin. Like that's part of the spectacle. That's part of the, this is unusual. What's going to happen? Oh, it's in Dublin, right? Like they're playing it up. So I think we see some of these teams that might be struggling a bit with viewership and it, it turns into more of the spectacle than about, would they want Texas to play in it? Hell yeah. Notre Dame, right? They don't need the eyeballs, but it makes sense for Notre Dame to play in Dublin. So me personally, no, I think it's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress to put on your team early. And I think it does create some interesting situations. But it is fun to watch. It's fun to watch. What about you, Rocky? Would you want Texas over there?
You know what interesting situation that's fun to watch is when the parent.
Nice way to skirt the question, but I like it.
Yeah,
all right.
No, I don't want Texas in that game. This video.
Wild. Look, I just finished saying the Big 12 was going to be wild to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be wild. It's going to be a dogfight. This video here is Kansas State's quarterback, Avery Johnson, his father fist fighting in wet street with his brother, the oldest son.
Yeah.
They're in a family brawl here in public for the whole world to see. This is so embarrassing for their family. They've, of course, both issued apologies. I guess some people can't handle their Ireland. I don't know, but what Avery Johnson took 2, 3, 4 big L's that night. Like that's just embarrassing. And it's embarrassing for college football. I know this happens everywhere in the world. I know soccer, they literally kill each other around the world and things happen like this, but how embarrassing for he's now the leader of his team. He's waited his time. He's developed. This is supposed to be his breakout season. Hard to tell. And he did do all he could on Saturday, but hard to tell anything in those conditions. But then to find out your dad and brother are rolling in the sloppy street fighting.
Yeah, I mean, chalk it up to the Guinness, right? There's too much Guinness overserved. Maybe Americans can't handle that kind of booze. But yeah, I mean, it was unfortunate because it was a fun game to watch. It was a sloppy
It was
game, but
a
it was fun.
fun
It was
game to watch.
crazy. So and that's unfortunate for Avery Johnson to have to deal with the fallout of a thing that he had nothing to do with, right? Like he was on the football field playing. He had no idea this was going on, and for his dad and his brother to react, have that fallout. Again, you're right. Every family has their their issues or their little squabbles, but to play out on a national level like that is unfortunate. But hopefully they learn from it. Hopefully it's a thing where it doesn't happen again. It doesn't become a distraction, and we don't have to talk about what's going on and keeping up with the Johnsons, right?
I want to know. I want to hear. I want to find out what happened when they got back.
Yeah, right. To
So
be a fly on that wall.
Hawaii hosted Stanford too on Saturday. That was the evening game, late afternoon game, and exciting game with that one. The field goal for the win. I wanted to share this with you, Megan, before we move to Coach Sark's media availability today, because that's what we really wanted to chat about is start looking ahead to Texas going into Ohio State. But we must talk about the Women's Rugby World Cup that's happening in England right now this past weekend, where the kickoff of about 6 weeks of competition all around England, and 42,723 people came to watch England, USA, setting a new attendance record for women's rugby in the World Cup. That's huge. Tickets are selling fast. The finals are on my birthday, so that's exciting. Women's World Rugby. Unfortunately, 42,723 is also the number of points that USA gave up to England, and in that butt kicking. However, a lot of people went to watch it. So
yeah, well, got to start somewhere,
I don't know if that's
right?
good or bad that 42,000 people watch you lose by 50 something points, but there you go. Congrats. It's exciting. You can stream it on Paramount Plus if you want to watch some women's rugby, and you can watch, you can watch the games later on demand. So yeah, good job. All right, let's move on. Go ahead.
You mentioned streaming on Paramount Plus. Now, in this day and age of streaming and all this crazy stuff going on, we'd be remiss not to bring this up. It just came up today that Fox is in a dispute with YouTube TV for streaming rights, just in general for Fox, which also Texas fans, if you have YouTube TV, could potentially impact your ability to watch the Texas at Ohio State games. So I don't know, man. Like, I get it. I see all these people like, why couldn't they settle this in June? You don't have leverage in June. You don't have the biggest game that's scheduled for the season pending in June. You've got it now. So I hate it. I hate that we get into these disputes. We've seen it a lot, but I don't know that there are any parties that are not guilty here, right? Like, I don't think there's just a pure good guy and bad guy in this fight, but man, I just feel like there are so many ways now. Remember when streaming started to be a thing? Here's my old lady shaking the cane in the air. Streaming was a thing, and you were cutting the cable, and look at us sticking it to the cable companies, and it's cheaper, and we get all this stuff. Now everything's so independent, man. You gotta pay for 14 different streaming services just to
what? Yeah, I don't even know. We tried to see how many do we have. We have YouTube TV and Direct TV streaming, because some have some channels, the other don't. Blah blah blah, and then some work, some blah blah blah. Anyway, and then you got to have the Netflix, and you got to have the Hulu, and you got to have the Paramount Plus, and you got to have all these things to. Well, that show looks amazing. Oh, it's only on HBO Max stream something like and then try it free for 7 days, and then 8 months later, $14.95. I'm billed every month. Like, Anyway, yeah. But so Paramount Plus, if you want to watch the rugby, Women's Rugby World Cup. Anyway, so yes, you're right. Fox. Hopefully, they said by Wednesday at 5 p.m. I think they're supposed to have
the deadline,
something negotiated.
Which I'm sure they'll extend.
Yeah. But you're right. It's about that leverage. And right now, the biggest game of maybe college football of the decade is at noon on Fox. And let's see what happens. All right. So today, we had lots of media availability. We can't even get to it all because there's just so much. The player availability alone, it's on Longhorn Network if you want to watch the whole thing. They were over an hour with Arch Manning, Ethan Burke, Quintravian Wisener, Malik Muhammad, CJ Baxter, Colin Simmons, Michael Tapp, and more. There were so many players. But let's start with Coach Sark, who now that it's in season, he will be meeting with the media the usual 11:30 the week of the games. We know that because it is not conference play yet, he does not have to release an injury report, but he was asked about a couple of injuries. We know Trevor Gooseby, some kind of finger injury, has been limited or not practicing. He was asked point blank, do you expect him to play? Yeah, I do. So that even a limited Trevor Gooseby with how athletic he is and how smart he is, and he does have the most experience, left tackle, right experience. How did you feel when you saw Coach Sarkisian say, yeah, I do expect Trevor Gooseby to play? That to me changes the game.
Yeah, it does change the game. I felt relieved. It was nice to have that confirmation because that's pretty unusual for a coach to come outright and say that. But it's also not anything too surprising given what he has been saying and what we've been hearing out of camp. That if the game were today, Gooseby would be in. So that seems pretty in line with everything we heard. So certainly nice to have that confirmation. To hear it from Coach right up front. So that was good to hear. A nice relief, a welcome reassurance, I suppose.
Right. Okay. Some of the keynotes from Sark's press conference. He called this an epic matchup. He said it's a tall task and that Texas is really going to find out about themselves. He was asked about what is he emphasizing, because we know Coach Sark loves to say you get what you emphasize. He said they are emphasizing details and style of play, making sure they know the little things will matter. In this game, what do you think? How much impact do you think the little things are going to have in a game like this on the road with the pretty new /young /inexperienced offensive line, particularly?
It'll make or break the game. I think it's everything here. I think that's going to be the difference between, missing a field goal and it changing everything, or, just keeping the guys, stopping them on third and short. Stop, just little things. How do you execute? Are you only allowed, are you getting behind the line of scrimmage versus letting them get a yard or two? Little things, being on top of execution, getting to an inexperienced quarterback is going to make a difference for Texas. Now, also to your point about the O-line, I'm less concerned, and I'm not ready to call this Texas O-line inexperienced. What I'm concerned about, and we've talked about this on previous shows, is just that depth, right? But the little things are going to matter for that O-line depth. Is your footwork proper? Are you in the right place? Are you blocking properly? Are you communicating well? Little things like that can make or break, the O-line and how well it's working. So when you have two big powerhouses like this, when you have two very talented teams coached by two very, very talented coaches and coaching staff, it all comes down to that, the little differences. And at the end of the day, the little differences add up. So, I'm not going to sit here and argue with Coach Sark. I definitely think it's going to make a big difference there.
All right. He kind of had a funny comment when they asked him about the red zone. He's like, "What a great stat." They went from 50% to 64% over the last 2 years. Needs to be better. 75, 80%, touchdowns in the red zone would be more championship level. But all right. Anyways, he's talked about, go ahead.
No, it's improvement.
We're moving in the right direction. He was ready to go with that stat. He said you go in with a plan, but you got to be ready to adjust. Everyone has a plan until they get punched in the mouth, right? That's another way of saying that. What did you think when he said about using the loss to Ohio State as motivation? But he said he didn't, major in it, but he had that in his back pocket in case he needed a little extra motivation.
Look, I really liked how he kind of smirked when he answered this, in the sense that he did mention, he's like, look, we're not hanging our hat on this. This wasn't the only thing. This wasn't in the forefront. He's like, but I held on to it. If we needed to push him a little bit, maybe I thought they needed to run a little harder, he'd bring that up. I love that, because at the end of the day, to me, this game can't be won on pure emotion, right? And if you're hanging everything on revenge or not revenge, you're not going to get the best play. I think, what I heard from Coach was this team is ready. They're having a good time. They're feeling good. They're executing on a high level. They're going to go out there and be Texas football, right? They're going to go out there, have that swagger, have fun, have that confidence, play for themselves, play to win and to accomplish their goals for the season. Oh, but hey, by the way, doesn't hurt that I have that in my back pocket to poke them a little bit if they need it. So I loved hearing that. I thought it was great.
Yeah. So we're talking about how much motivation do you need, though, to go on the road to Ohio State, hostile environment. Sark was asked, and when we talk about some of the players, they were also asked about what is it like to play on the road? How do you prepare for that kind of hostile environment? He talked about, pumping in crowd noise and things like that would make him have to focus, right? And he talked about how fortunate he is that he has big time players who have played in these kind of big time games. We know they're 11 games in a row, true road games in a row with wins, right? They haven't lost in almost 3 years at Oklahoma State in a true road game. There are some players on this team who've never lost in a true road game. They feed off those boos, right? Regular season true road games. There are some players talked about how they thrive on the boos. They love those boos, right? They embrace the hate. And, Sarkisian made it a thing, embrace the hate for those hostile games. He talked about how those games prepare them going into Michigan, prepared them for going into College Station, right? Like, even though, but they're pretty good because you shut the crowd up pretty early in both of those games. Let's play this video here when he was talking about that. He asked, like, how do you get the team to be ready for these games because they are so intense on the road? Yep, let me put the sound on.
I think we trust our process. We've got a real process that we believe in our starting this morning. And on what's going on between the white lines. And to your point, we've been in some tough venues. Playing at Kyle Field last year was a tough venue. Playing at Michigan last season, defending national champs, going to Alabama the year before that. So we've been in some tough venues. I think doing it with confidence, knowing that adversity will strike, and then having a next play mentality, having the mental toughness to persevere to get on the other side of some of that adversity, I think is really important as well. But mostly it's staying connected. It's staying connected on that sidelines, being enamored with what we need to do, and not get so caught up in what's going on around us.
All right. Not get so caught up with what's going on around them. Megan, we lost you. I think you're going to come back in just a second. Let me let you know we lost connection. All right. So he also talked about the offensive identity of the team and what would that look like? Who defines the offensive identity? And he said Trey Wisner, because he's the person that squeezes every ounce of juice out of himself. He puts max effort, max toughness. He's also said Arch Manning was ready to play. There you are, girl. He also said Arch Manning is ready to go. So that's exciting. He told him, don't try to be a superhero. Go be him. I mean, do we need shirts now that say go be him? Arch. Should I put that all over our student ID shirts?
Right. New saying for sure. No, again, look, when you've got a player like Arch Manning, you don't need to hype him up too much, right? This is his third year in the system. He's been learning. He's been, following the program, understanding it. You don't have to do a whole lot with him other than let him be him. So yeah, again, this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier about the motivation, about how they're going to play. Look, this team, man, I'm hesitant to say this out loud, but this is probably one of the most confident Texas teams we've seen in a long time. This is back to that Texas swagger days, right? So
yes,
it's fun to see. It's fun to see this team have a good time. It's fun to see them have that like pep in their step, that Longhorn pride, right? Like it's going to be a lot to watch. It's going to be a fun season, and I can't wait for it. How about you?
All right. I'm excited. This is going to be when he talks about, embracing the hate, trusting the process. He has a proven process for getting this team ready to go on the road, and he talked about this, got to keep everything, the system is the system. Don't try to be radical and change things this week, because then the players feed off of that. And just, the way they had a walkthrough last Saturday, they have game week, Monday practice, Tuesday they do a certain thing. They have a routine, and most of the team now knows that routine. You have leadership like Anthony Hill and Michael Taft, names he mentioned, Arch Manning, names he mentioned that are the ones that he's going to rely on to instill that discipline and things on the road, and to manage emotions on the road. I love our good friend Ruben Pesado. He's the voice of the Longhorns in Espanol. He had a great question, Megan. Did you hear the question he asked today?
I did.
He asked about the personality of the team. And he asked, what's the personality of this team like? I loved Sark's answer. I should play it.
Personality of this team is a unique one. These guys are very fun. I know that you're a fun team. They're fun in a way that they do a real sense of like vigor, they're tough, but yet they can have fun doing it along the way. And so I enjoy that because that's a little bit of my personality. I'm very intense at the moment, but I do like to have a good time. We work too hard not to enjoy what we get to do. And these guys give me that sense and that feeling. And so I do enjoy that. I guess to answer your second question, I hope we're playing a lot of high-ranked teams. That means we're probably in the playoffs and winning some more games. So
all right. So the personality of the team is fun. What do you think about that? Like even Arch said, I might as well go have some fun. Been waiting 2 years to play. Might as well go have some fun. What do you think about that?
I love it. You can see it in the team. I mean, these guys are having a good time. We talked about it last year too. I mean, this team is really gelling. They understand who they are. They're building up, and now full on, this is Arch's team, and they're having a great time. So yeah, I think that's a great analogy. Fun. Again, I'm excited to hear that as a fan. I want this team, like, they've gone through the work. They understand the fundamentals. They understand the nuances. A lot of these players have been in Sark's system for quite some time now. So you're getting to the point where things are starting to come natural. Now you can let it rip. You can have some fun. You can have that personality come out. It's great.
All right, let's hear this quick little quote from Arch.
Yeah, it's fun. Are you mentally prepared to have a huge back season where I mean, I think that's all of us at Texas, and I think we kind of try to shift the narrative. We're going for everyone else. Target's not on our back. We have a red dot on everyone else.
Oh, that was a different one. But let's go ahead and talk about that. I was going to play the one where he says, might as well have some fun. Yeah, let her rip. But yeah, let's go ahead and get into that, because he was asked, Arch Manning was asked about what's it like having a target on your back. Not only are they Texas, which puts a target on their back, #1 in the country. Some people, even though this isn't, Arch doesn't even use his Instagram or his, all his social media. He has one tweet, right? Going to Texas. He's not the one who's promoting himself constantly, but some people are sick already hearing of Arch. What do you think his response? Like, no, we're not the ones with the targets on our back. You're the one with the targets on your back.
I loved it. The first thing that came to my mind, I don't know, Rocky, I don't know if you've seen this movie, but one of my favorites, I think it's so underrated, is The Watchmen. So it came out, it was a Zack Snyder Marvel movie back in 2009. And
I missed that.
There was a great quote. There's a great quote in there where Rorschach gets thrown in prison, and he's just this little white dude, redheaded white dude, right? And all these guys are kind of coming down on him, and he thinks like he's going to be the little prison bitch, or that's what they think. Well, he just goes crazy, right? Smashes it out, throws burning grease on the guy that's trying to attack him. And he said, "You guys don't understand. Some of y'all are failing to understand. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me." And he just goes crazy, right? Like that to me is one of the best movie lines ever delivered.
That's pretty good.
But those are the vibes I got from Arch Manning. Look, we don't have the target on our back. We're hunting you. I love
Love
that,
it.
man. Like
He
that
talked about
vibe.
the red dots on them.
Ooh, just give me, yeah, that's a hunting reference, right? Like just give
Yes.
me goosebumps. I love it. I'm here for that energy. And I think it's gonna be amazing to watch it play out.
All right, we have Embrace the Hate tour starts again. You know, they went into Alabama, they went into Michigan, they've gone into some hostile environments. Ethan Berg talked about he likes getting booed on the road. It, you know, fires him up. He talked about the physicality starting with the defense and the run game. And I like that he mentioned the run game because we know a key, what really got Ohio State going in their game in the Cotton Bowl was their run game. Like they were able to establish physicality on defense. And so they know, they saw it firsthand when Ohio State was able to do those two things, that's enough to win a big time game. So I like when Contravian Wisner, he was interviewed today too. He talked about the run game also being vital for success. And he talked about, he liked playing on the road too. I want you to hear what he said about playing on the road. I love when we get like all the mix of players and the mix of years that they've been playing, and I love all that.
You like playing on the road?
I actually do enjoy it just because it's a hostile environment. So you got your burnt orange, but you still gonna have majority of the opposing team's fans. So it does give you that rush that like, okay, it's real. I got some fans, but I also have fans from the other team that's here to support them. So it's definitely a cool experience.
Sark kind of gave you a compliment this morning.
It's a cool experience. Woo, that was us big. It's a cool experience for him to go hear the other fans, and it's different than at home, especially at DKR. Lots of people want to come to DKR. Visiting fans are always there, but there's only been a few times where you could hear the other fans like really, affect the game. And that's sad when the other team is there and they're affecting the game. But can you imagine? Like, I feel like when Texas goes to other places, there are a lot of Texas fans there. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's just fact. Texas fans travel really well. We've talked about this a lot. We saw it last year at Michigan. Rocky, you and I were there. We had to estimate there was probably 30,000 fans in that stand. The Big House is a big place. It seats 110,000.
Mhm.
I would say there was just a little under a third of the stadium. Once all the Michigan fans cleared out,
Right.
which started happening early, you could start seeing that burnt orange pop up a little bit more. I said the same thing. I've told the story. We were in Notre Dame, made some friends beforehand tailgating, and I said, look, I think you're gonna be surprised at how much burnt orange is here, how many Texas fans are here. And the guy told me, he's like, I hear what you're saying, but we're Notre Dame. A ton of fan bases travel here because they want to check out Notre Dame. I was like, I hear you, but you might be surprised. Sure enough, in that first quarter, about halfway through the first quarter, he texted me and said, holy shit, I believe. This is crazy.
Yeah.
I've never seen this before.
And it was for a butt kicking too. So
it was for a butt whooping, right? Like in some of the worst decades of football that Texas has seen. So yeah, I think Texas fans are going to show up and show out here. I think that being said, Ohio State fans are just coming off a natty too, so they're going to be excited.
And they're going to be hanging a banner, and they're introducing all these new
this is a big deal.
Stadium things they're unveiling. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Emotions are going to be high. It's a big game, but yeah, at the end of the day, Texas fans know how to travel. We're going to show up. I think we're going to see similar numbers to what we saw last year in Michigan.
Yeah, we know a lot of people who are going to be there in Columbus on Saturday, including us.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple more takeaways from some of the players that spoke today. Malik Muhammad, I love his quote about Coach Akina. He says, anybody can, break up a pass, make a good play. We want to make great plays. We want to be great playmakers. What a difference to think, I can go be good. No, go be great. And that's that mentality that, experienced legend like Coach Akina brings coming back to Texas. When he made that statement, what did you think when he said, I don't want to just be good, I want to be great?
I mean, that's Coach Akina, right? Like, you're talking about a man. I was laughing when I saw a lot of fans' reaction to Coach Akina coming to Texas. Like, this guy, look at his age. And is he what? People are worried. I'm like, man, tell me you aren't familiar with Coach Akina without saying it, because the dude is all energy all the time. He does not accept. And Akina is known for not being quiet. He is not the gentle, warm, fuzzy kind of leader. He will get in your ass if you are not doing something right. But you know what? He keeps that intensity all the time throughout practice, throughout the game. So yeah, I mean, that is 100% in line with what Coach Aquina, like his philosophy on everything, what he expects of his players, what he demands of his players. It's not, we want to be good. It's, we need to be great, and we are great, and we will be great. Right. Like, so go be great. I love it. I mean, that's Aquina through and through.
Yep. Love it. We have to mention a couple more players and then we'll wrap up the player availability part. CJ Baxter. I made my prediction that he was going to have the first touchdown of the season, partly because I think we'll get in the red zone and need him, and partly because I hope it's him. What just a great circle of, how hard he fought to get back. And I wanted to share this clip of him talking today because one, he got the new haircut, just like Anthony Hill, the fresh new do, right? New year, new do, new everything, right? Just start the season fresh. But this is him talking about crediting the training staff for helping him work his way back to healthy.
Yeah, so I mean, I give that guy so much credit, him and that the training staff, Daryl Donald. I give him so much credit because it was never a low moment with me returning, as far as getting back on the field and going with the ones again or going against the defense. So the first 3 days of camp, I was on like a pinch count. They would monitor me a lot. And then after that first week, I would amp it up, and then it was really more so how my body responded. I think it responded well. I did a good job of taking care of my body. They did a good job of helping me take care of my body. It was just giving me more, each and every practice. So I'm excited, man. That's the big thing. They did a great job. I give them all the credit for it.
The way he smiled, I'm just excited. Did that give you all the feels? Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting that from all the players, right? I think there's a lot of excitement for this season. Time to talk is done. It's time to show up or shut up, right? And the level, these guys are ready, and I think they're prepared. And like I said earlier, they're talking, they're practicing, they're showing up with a confidence that we haven't seen from Texas in a long time. So I think all the signs are there. Yeah, like I said, that Texas swagger is coming back, man, and I'm here for it. I love it.
There's a bit of a swagger. All right, last quote I wanted to share. And of course, like I said earlier, this is all on Longhorn Network, the app or the website. You can go and stream Sark's press conference, and then all over an hour of 7 or 8 or 9 players. There was a bunch of players. The last one we wanted to share was Colin Simmons. Colin Simmons is such a leader. He's been called out by Sark already a few times of really being a leader on this team. He was asked, about been studying Ohio State for a few weeks. He was like, this is one of those games where anything can happen type of game, right? Anything can happen. They asked him who brings the juice on defense. And I loved his answer because, Megan, do you know who brings the juice on defense? Everybody. Everybody.
The whole front seven. It ain't even just the D line; it's the whole defense at that. The linebackers bring the energy, the secondary bring the energy, the D line bring the energy. Of course, I'm one of the main dudes that get things rolling and stuff like that. Anthony Hill, one of the main dudes. On the come up, Alex January is one of the main dudes out there. Ethan Bird, Michael Taft. So I wouldn't just say it's just the D line. I'd say it's the whole defense.
Whole defense. Everybody brings the energy. All right.
Good.
I love hearing the players speak. I can go rewatch this whole thing again and hear 10 different things again. And I like reading between the lines too.
All right, Rocky. So as we wrap up here, what are your big takeaways from the presser from today, from the media availability? Give me 3 big takeaways you got today.
My big takeaway is the defense is a complete unit with lots of depth and confidence. I think they have a lot of confidence. I took away that there are real leaders on this team prepared to, rally the emotions and keep everyone on track as they go into this hostile environment. And I really, really think Arch is ready to go be him.
I love
And
it.
you, what 3 things did you take away?
Yeah, one of those I think you and I both keyed in on. It's the leadership, right? I think we heard that over and over from the coaches, from the players, from every different aspect. You know, in the past, we would get a few vocal leaders, we'd get a few quiet leaders. It really feels like this team is full of guys that are not only ready to lead, but to serve. And I think, you know, just seeing that camaraderie in the team, seeing the love they have for each other, the fun that they're having now, that combined with this confident leadership, I think is going to make a huge difference this year and is going to be really impactful. So that was definitely something that jumped out at me the most. You know, secondly is the confidence. And it wasn't just the players. It wasn't just, listen, I don't think I've ever seen Coach Sark that chill. Like, he was having fun, he was smirking, he was smiling, he was playing with the media. You know, I think Kirk Bowles at one point asked a question, and you know, Sark kind of gave him some crap back. Like, there was some banter, right? Like, it's just, this team is confident and they're comfortable, and that's been a fun thing to see. That's been really cool. And then I think the third thing, it harkens a little bit to what you're talking about, but I heard physicality and being physically dominant, and this team is physical and they're here and they're putting in the work. That stuck out to me a lot as a common theme. So that's good to hear. We know that Texas has always, like, the strength and conditioning has come up, the strength of this team, the versatility of the team, you know, through Coach Stark's tenure here. You see tougher and tougher teams coming out. These guys are not only playing smart, but they're playing strong. So I think that, to me, those 3 things, it's just that, you know, that confidence and that physicality coming out and the leadership. I think that makes for a great combination. Now, we all know, special, you know, winning a national championship takes a lot, and there's a little bit of special sauce mixed in there, a little bit of luck, a bit of preparation, and hearing those things, those leadership, the confidence, and the physicality, that's a beautiful combination, and gives me a lot of hope for this season.
I like that you caught that swag in Sark right now. This, I screen captured this moment here because something about that cool confidence. He's just telling it like it is, answering the questions. You know, he was ready to go with that stat about the red zone offense. Just something about this. Look at the sparkle in his eye. Like, he knows he has a good team. He, you know, a lot of people were still worried about that offensive line, especially now as injuries are accumulating already.
It is something to watch. It is something to watch.
Depth. It's a long season, and we're already, you know, unfortunate for Andre Kojo, and then, you know, Trevor Goosby's been limited. So it's a long season. He felt really confident, the staff and what they had going in. So as he usually does, he did not go to the portal for offensive line. But look how cool and confident he is here, answering questions today.
Yeah, I love it. Look, I was thinking of you when I was watching this, because you have been the gift creating queen here over the past few weeks as we're doing these countdowns, getting ready for kickoff. And I got to tell you, when he was answering that question, I'm telling you, girl, you got to go back and look. There's like a 3 or 4 second moment.
I video captured a few things.
That's what I'm saying. You just can put that on loop, because he kind of, he grins, he looks up, he thinks, he grins again. Like, I think it's going to be, you've got just a wealth, a gold mine there for your gift making. So
yes,
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
I have a few good ones, clips to use that I can't wait. I can't wait to use them. I can't wait to use them. This one here, I have to show you real quick. This is the one that I wanted to show you a second ago, and I couldn't get it to play. Now I'm going to get it to play for you. This one right here.
I mean, this is what I've been waiting for. I spent 2 years not playing, so might as well go have some fun, right?
Might as well go have some fun, right? I'm going to use that for like 98 things tomorrow.
No question.
All right. So let's go ahead and wrap up quick. We'll just talk about Texas at Ohio State. A few thoughts before we head out. We know that the big game, the number 1 game in the country, is this Saturday. The weather, Megan, do you consider this football weather when you have a high of 74 degrees, a cool tailgating morning of 48 degrees?
It's getting there. It's definitely getting there. This is really similar to what we saw in Ann Arbor last year.
It was freezing last year in the morning, like so much colder than the temperature said.
Freezing to you for sure.
No, a lot of people were really cold.
It was chilly, but I loved it. I was comfortable. I was peeling off clothes early
73 and 74 and sunny. That's real nice.
Yeah, no, look, this is definitely tickling on football weather. I will give the Big Ten that they certainly experience more
for 2 weeks
football weather than we do.
For 2 weeks in September. After that, they're the worst.
I don't know. I think 105 through November is pretty bad for Texas.
I think
too,
sitting in a blizzard is the worst. All right, Lee Corso's final game day will be this game. Do you think his final pick'em ever is going to be Brutus or Bevo?
Man,
he's gonna pick.
I can see him going for Brutus just because of the family ties there, right? But look, I'm going to go back to 2005 when Corso was the only one that picked Texas to win the Natty. I think maybe he gives us a classic Corso fake out, picks the Buckeyes, and then switches it out and ends up with that hook 'em head on him. So I'm excited. I'm gonna take the Bevo head, but I'm gonna go with a classic Corso switch out. That's my call.
Oh yeah, not so fast.
Not so fast,
I
my
mean,
friend.
he's got to do one last, not so fast.
Absolutely.
All right. So we know the players talked about the rule, the keys to the winning any big game, and we'll talk about this. We'll dive into our predictions and what the keys are to the game. All those things on Wednesday. We know they talked about stopping the run and bringing the physicality on defense, and so we will expand on that on Wednesday. We will look at the matchups. These teams are so alike. New quarterbacks, replacing lines, receivers, young receivers coming up. There's just so many commonalities between these two teams. It's going to be so fun to look at the matchup. The spread is hovering around 1.5 still. That means if this game was in Austin, Texas would be the favorite by 1 or 1.5. So these are really evenly matched teams. Will you be ready to make your prediction on Wednesday, Megan? Your score prediction?
I will be ready. So for those of you listening, thank you so much. For those of you watching, we appreciate y'all. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Again, on YouTube, we are at Fire the Cannon Podcast. On Twitter and Instagram, we are Fire the Cannon and the number 1. Every little bit helps out, guys. We appreciate y'all being here. Don't forget to join us on Wednesday, live on Twitter, live on maybe Facebook. I don't know. How old are we? But definitely live on YouTube. Get your comments in. Rocky, maybe we do another giveaway. I don't know. Sounds like it could be kind of fun.
I think I'm out of shirts. Everybody wanted some. I don't know. Let me see if I can round one up. Well, maybe
we'll see what we can do. We see what we can do. All right, y'all. So we appreciate you. We'll see you back here Wednesday for that live chat. Until then, I'm Megan.
I'm Rocky.
And we are Fire the Cannon. Hook 'em, y'all.